The Presidential Dollar Coin series was created to honor the presidents of the United States in the order they served, and one of the important figures in this series is John Quincy Adams, who was the 6th President of the United States and the son of John Adams, the 2nd President. His appearance on the Presidential Dollar Coin represents both his presidency and his lifelong service to the nation. The coin featuring John Quincy Adams was released in 2008 as part of the ongoing Presidential Dollar Coin Program, which began in 2007 under the authority of the Presidential $1 Coin Act of 2005. This act was signed into law to recognize former presidents and to educate the public about American history through circulating coinage. John Quincy Adams was born on July 11, 1767, in Braintree, Massachusetts, which is now Quincy, Massachusetts. He grew up during the American Revolution and spent much of his childhood traveling with his father, who served as a diplomat in Europe. This early exposure to international politics shaped his future career. Adams was highly educated and spoke multiple languages, which was rare at the time. He later became a diplomat, senator, secretary of state, and eventually president before serving many years in the House of Representatives, making him one of the most experienced public servants in American history. The Presidential Dollar Coin, featuring John Quincy Adams, shows a portrait of him facing right, which follows the traditional style of the series. The design is based on historical likenesses and official portraits of Adams. His name, John Quincy Adams, appears on the coin, along with the order number indicating that he was the 6th President of the United States. Unlike traditional U.S. coins, the presidential dollar coins do not show the year of minting or the mottos on the front. Instead, these details are placed on the edge of the coin. This includes the year of issue, the mint mark, and the mottos. In God we trust, e pluribus unum. The reverse side of the coin features the Statue of Liberty, which is common to all presidential dollar coins. This design symbolizes freedom and democracy and creates a consistent look across the entire series. The Statue of Liberty reverse was designed to unify the collection while allowing the obverse portraits to highlight individual presidents. The coin is made of a manganese brass alloy, giving it a golden color, although it contains no actual gold. The John Quincy Adams Presidential Dollar Coin was minted at both the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint in 2008. Millions of coins were produced for circulation, although public demand for dollar coins was relatively low during this period. As a result, many coins were stored by the government and never widely used in everyday transactions. Despite this, the coins remain popular among collectors and history enthusiasts. John Quincy Adams' presidency lasted from 1825 to 1829 and was marked by significant challenges. He was elected in a controversial election decided by the House of Representatives after no candidate won a majority of the electoral votes. This event became known as the corrupt bargain. Although Adams himself denied any wrongdoing, his presidency focused on national development, including support for infrastructure, education, and scientific advancement. However, his ambitious plans were often blocked by political opposition led by Andrew Jackson and his supporters. After losing re-election, Adams did something no other former president had done at that time. He returned to public service by being elected to the U.S. House of Representatives, where he served for nearly 17 years. During this period, he became a strong opponent of slavery and fought against the gag rule, which prevented discussion of anti-slavery petitions. His courage and dedication to moral principles earned him respect and admiration long after his presidency. The inclusion of John Quincy Adams in the Presidential Dollar Coin series honors not only his time as president, but also his lifelong commitment to public service and human rights. The coin serves as an educational tool, reminding Americans of his contributions to diplomacy law and the fight against slavery. Collectors value the coin as part of the larger presidential series and as a tribute to one of the most intellectually accomplished leaders in U.S. history. The Presidential Dollar Coin program itself was designed to release 4 coins per year in the order of presidential service. Only presidents who had been deceased for at least 2 years were eligible. This rule ensured historical perspective and respect. The John Quincy Adams coin fits perfectly within this structure, representing an early period in American presidential history. Today, the John Quincy Adams presidential dollar coin continues to be collected by numismatists around the world. It is often found in uncirculated condition due to limited circulation, and government storage sets that include both Philadelphia and Denver Mint versions are especially popular among collectors. The coin stands as a reminder of Adams' dedication to the nation and the enduring legacy of the early American Republic. John Quincy Adams, life before and after the presidency, adds even greater depth to why his image was chosen for the presidential dollar coin. His early diplomatic career was one of the most remarkable in American history. At just 14 years old, he served as a secretary to the U.S. Minister to Russia. This experience exposed him to European politics and diplomacy at a very young age. Over time, he became one of the most skilled diplomats the United States ever produced. He later served as minister to the Netherlands, Prussia, Russia, and Great Britain, and played a key role in negotiating important treaties that shaped the future of the nation. One of John Quincy Adams' greatest achievements came during his time as Secretary of State under President James Monroe. From 1817 to 1825, he was the chief architect of American foreign policy. During this period, he helped negotiate the Adams-Onis Treaty with Spain, which resulted in the United States acquiring Florida and clearly defining the border between the U.S. and Spanish territory in North America. This treaty strengthened American influence and expanded the nation's territory peacefully through diplomacy rather than war. Adams also played a central role in shaping the Monroe Doctrine, which warned European powers against further colonization in the Americas. While President Monroe announced the doctrine, Adams was the intellectual force behind it. He believed strongly in American independence and sovereignty and wanted to protect the Western Hemisphere from European interference. This doctrine became a cornerstone of U.S. foreign policy for generations and remains one of the most significant statements in American diplomatic history. When John Quincy Adams became president in 1825, he entered office with bold ideas for national improvement. He believed the federal government should support roads, canals, scientific research observatories, and education. He envisioned a modern nation connected by infrastructure and guided by knowledge. However, many Americans at the time viewed these ideas as too ambitious or unconstitutional. Political opposition limited what he could accomplish during his presidency. This resistance weakened his leadership and prevented him from achieving many of his goals. The controversial election of 1824 deeply affected Adams' presidency. The election involved 4 major candidates, and no one received a majority of electoral votes. The decision was sent to the House of Representatives, which selected Adams as president. Andrew Jackson, who had won the most popular and electoral votes, felt betrayed. When Adams later appointed Henry Clay as Secretary of State, Jackson's supporters accused them of a corrupt bargain. This accusation followed Adams throughout his presidency and damaged his public image, even though no proof of wrongdoing was ever established. After leaving the presidency, Adams refused to retire quietly. Instead, he returned to public service in a way that reshaped his legacy. In 1831, he was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives, where he served until his death. This made him the only former president to serve so long in Congress. During this period, he became one of the strongest voices against slavery. He defended the right of citizens to petition Congress and fought tirelessly against the gag rule, which sought to silence anti-slavery discussions. John Quincy Adams' role in the Amistad case further cemented his legacy as a defender of human rights. In 1841, he argued before the Supreme Court on behalf of enslaved Africans who had rebelled aboard the Spanish ship, Amistad. Adams passionately argued that they were illegally enslaved and deserved freedom. The Supreme Court ruled in favor of the Africans, and Adams' efforts were widely praised. This moment showed his lifelong commitment to justice and moral principles. The presidential dollar coin featuring John Quincy Adams symbolizes not just his presidency, but his entire career of service. The coin honors his diplomatic brilliance, his vision for national development, and his moral courage in opposing slavery. His inclusion in the series highlights that leadership is not defined by popularity alone, but by dedication to principles and long-term impact on the nation. From a numismatic perspective, the John Quincy Adams presidential dollar coin is part of a historically themed program that brought presidential history into everyday life. The edge lettering process used on these coins was unique and initially caused public interest when some coins were discovered missing edge inscriptions. These so-called error coins increased attention to the series and made certain examples more collectible. Although most John Quincy Adams coins were properly struck, the existence of edge lettering errors added excitement for collectors. The golden color of the coin often leads people to believe it contains gold, but in reality, it is composed of manganese brass. The alloy was chosen for durability and visual appeal. The weight, diameter, and thickness are standardized across the presidential dollar series, making them easy to identify and collect. The Statue of Liberty on the reverse represents shared American ideals, connecting all presidents in the series regardless of their political differences. Today, the John Quincy Adams presidential dollar coin is widely available in mint sets, proof versions, and uncirculated rolls. Proof coins struck at the San Francisco Mint feature sharp details and mirror-like finishes, making them especially attractive to collectors. These coins are often preserved as historical artifacts rather than used in circulation, ensuring their condition remains excellent. The legacy of John Quincy Adams continues to grow over time. Historians now recognize him as one of the most forward-thinking leaders of his era. His opposition to slavery, his support for education and science, and his belief in national unity resonate strongly in modern discussions of American values. The presidential dollar coin ensures that his contributions are remembered by future generations and that his face remains a symbol of dedication, intelligence, and service to the United States.